Physical properties of urine. First, color. The color of urine is clear yellow and it is due to the presence of pigment urochrome. This is one of the important question. The pigment which give clear yellow color to the urine is urochrome, but its color varies with the diet. Now second, the normal volume of the urine is 1 to 1.5 liters per day. Again it varies. If we drink more water, the volume of urine increases, and if we drink less water, the volume of urine decreases. Now the pH of urine is in between 5 to 8. Mostly it is slightly acidic, having the pH of 6. But if we consume more proteins in our diet, it becomes more acidic, while vegetable diet makes it alkaline. Now the odor. The fresh urine has a faint smell, but on standing it gives ammonia-like smell due to decomposition of organic constituents of the urine by the bacteria. On standing, the bacteria act over the organic constituents of the urine and convert it into ammonia. So that's why on standing urine gives strong ammonia-like smell. Now the specific gravity of the urine is 1.003 to 1.035. Now the next topic, that is constituents of urine. Again one of the important topic. The normal human urine is made up of 95% of water and 5% of solid waste. Now the percentage of solid waste may slightly vary according to the food taken or according to the time after taking food. Okay, so the percentage of solid waste, it may slightly vary from the person to person according to the food taken or according to the time after taking food. But approximately the following solid waste constituents of the urine are given in table 9.2. Now, organic constituents of the urine: gram per liter, urea 2.3 gram per liter, creatinine, one type of protein, it is present 1.5 gram per liter, uric acid 0.7 gram per liter, others organic components are 2.6 gram per liter. Now the inorganic constituents of the urine gram per liter: sodium chloride 9 gram per liter, potassium chloride 2.5 gram per liter, ammonia 0.6 gram per liter, and others inorganic constituents are 2.5 gram per liter. Beside these normal constituents, urine may pass out certain hormones also and certain medicines. Like if we are taking some medicines like antibiotics or sometimes the vitamins, water soluble vitamins, they also become the part of the urine. Now some abnormal constituents in urine. First is blood cell. This is a condition in which blood passes with urine due to some infection in the urinary tract. Urinary tract, the tract from where urine flows from kidneys to the urethra. So, the condition is known as hematuria. In this condition, blood passes with urine due to infection in the urinary tract or due to kidney stones or tumor. So blood cells are the abnormal constituent of the urine. Another abnormal constituent is glucose, and the condition is called as glycosuria. In this condition, excess of glucose passes with urine and it occurs in diabetes mellitus. If a person is suffering from diabetes, more glucose passes out with the urine of that person. Condition is known as glycosuria. The next abnormal constituent of urine is albumin. Again, these are the proteins, large size molecules. Due to high blood pressure or due to increased permeability of the Bowman capsule membrane on account of bacterial infection, albumin protein may be passed out via the urine. But these albumin proteins are of large size, so normally they do not pass through the glomerulus to become a part of glomerular filtrate. But if somebody is suffering from high blood pressure or sometimes due to bacterial infection, the permeability of the Bowman capsule increases. In these two conditions, these large size proteins also become the part of glomerular filtrate, and then they become the part of urine also. And this condition, when albumin proteins also become the part of urine, that condition is known as albuminuria. Now the next is bile pigments. Due to anemia or hepatitis, that is jaundice, or in the case of liver cirrhosis, urine also contain bile pigment which are formed by the breaking down of RBCs in the person's body. So if this bile pigment also become the part of the urine, it gives yellow color, more yellow color to the urine, as in the case of jaundice. So it is also one of the abnormal constituent of the urine. After this one, another important topic given in this yellow column of your book, that is taste of the urine. It may sound awkward to talk about the taste of the urine, but normally it is saltish due to the presence of these salts, sodium chloride, potassium chloride in it. When sweetish, the condition may be due to diabetes. Urine contains sugar glucose due to insufficient insulin, and ants gather to lick the urine of a diabetic patient. If a person is suffering from diabetes, that is due to deficiency of insulin. If a person is suffering from diabetes, in that condition, more glucose passes out with urine. At that time, the urine is sweetish to taste. Now, there is one another condition when tasteless. It becomes tasteless due to more water in it. It becomes tasteless due to more water in the urine, and the condition is known as diabetes insipidus, and this condition is due to insufficient secretion of ADH, that is anti-diuretic hormone. Insipidus means tasteless. So there are two types of diabetes. One is the severe type, which is caused due to deficiency of insulin hormone, and in this type of diabetes, more excess of glucose passes out with the urine, and urine is sweet to taste. And there is another, that is the mild type of diabetes called as diabetes insipidus. More water passes out with the urine in this type of diabetes, and it is due to deficiency of ADH, anti-diuretic hormone, which is also called as vasopressin. This question is also very important. Now after this, regulation of urine output, the pituitary gland and diuresis. Diuresis means increased production of urine, and the substances that increase the formation of urine are called diuretic substances. All liquid food like liquid diets like tea, coffee, alcohol, they are diuretic. They are increasing the formation of urine, so we call them as diuretic substances. Now the concentration of urine by water reabsorption is controlled by anti-diuretic hormone ADH, another name is vasopressin, and this hormone is secreted by posterior lobe of the pituitary gland. Now this ADH, it acts at the walls between DCT and collecting tubule. Here it acts, and when it acts here, it increases the permeability of the walls between DCT and collecting tubule. So when the ADH secretion increase, it makes the walls more permeable, due to which the water from the urine is reabsorbed back and the volume of the urine decreases. And when the ADH secretion decrease or is less, the permeability of the wall decreases. So water reabsorption from the urine will be less and more urine will be formed. So in this way, it regulates the formation of urine in our body. Now the next, the blue column, gut and the kidney stones. Uric acid, one of the organic nitrogenous waste, is relatively less soluble in water and may crystallize and get deposited in the joints. So as it is less soluble in water, It forms crystal and it's deposit between the joints causing gout. That is one of the disease related to the joints. Excessive uric acid contains salts like calcium oxalate. Now excessive uric acid and the certain salt like calcium oxalate may be the source of kidney stones when the kidneys are not working fully normally. So if the kidneys of a person are not working normally, at that time the calcium oxalate and uric acid, it is not filtered properly by the kidneys. Due to that, this uric acid and calcium oxalate salt, they start forming crystal inside the kidney and form kidney stones. And when they get deposited in between the joints, they cause a disease known as gout, which results in the pain in the joints. So these are the two diseases which are related to our excretory system. So till this we have finished. Now starting with the progress check, page number 118. State if the following statements are true or false. First, the blood flows through glomerulus under great pressure. True. Glomerular filtrate consists of many substances such as water, salts, glucose and white blood corpuscles. True. Sodium chloride contained in glomerular filtrate is fully reabsorbed in the renal tubule. False. The blood flowing through the renal artery is oxygenated and contains a lot of nitrogenous waste. True. The blood flowing through the renal vein is oxygenated and normally does not contain nitrogenous waste. False. Excessive uric acid may produce kidney stone. So revise the topic thoroughly. Next we are going to start with osmoregulation.